Hello, guys. Woohoo, here we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited about this topic. I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard women share this pattern over and over that they try so hard to find acceptance, and maybe it's a religious upbringing or just a virtue you hold, that you know that acceptance is important, and so you try so hard to just accept your husband and not speak up when something's bothering you until it gets to the point that it's driving you insane. You bottle, stuff, thinking it's acceptance, trying so hard to accept, and then you explode. And in those explosions, oh my gosh. And I know this from experience. I did this many years in my marriage. Afterwards, you feel like crap, don't you? It's this, what did I even say? Half of what I said didn't even actually feel 100% true. I was just super angry. I was just so hurt. I said more than I even meant to say. And then you're left picking up the pieces. Then you feel guilty even following up on the conversation you had, right? Oh my gosh, this pattern sucks. And then he may make some changes because, you clearly expressed some strong feelings about this situation. So he may make some changes, and then it only lasts maybe a week if we're lucky. And we're back to square one, and this pattern plays out. And if you haven't been, married for very long, you might not recognize this as a pattern. But if you've been married for some time, very aware of the pattern. How many times have I heard women talk about this? I loved the little meme that we found to demonstrate what happens here, where oh shoot, what are they called? The Golden Girls, and Sophia, the little feisty one, is it says when you're about to get petty, but the Holy Spirit's got your back. And then her daughter, what was her name? The fuddy-duddy one is like holding her back, and it says, Sophia is me, and the daughter is the Holy Spirit, going, don't say it, just accept, right? Isn't that so accurate, you guys? Do you relate with Sophia? If you relate with Sophia, I would love for you to type Sophia in the comments. I relate with Sophia. I used to do that all the time. And not actually being Sophia, but with this meme where I would have something to say, and I wouldn't feel shame about the things I wanted to say until I felt super entitled and then spilled them out all over my husband. Gosh, it's a yucky cycle, isn't it? It's not fun. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. If you relate to this meme, you relate to Sophia. And I'm going to pull up a little group here so I can see guys' comments. Yeah, here we are. Great. Blanche. No. Blanche was like the slutty one, right? I can't remember the daughter's name. Anyways, let's not get sidetracked. Really, Deanna, yeah, in your previous relationship, you used to relate. Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, this can play out in other relationships too, especially relationships where we're close. What I find most often with relationships where we're not close is that we think we're accepting again, and then actually what happens is we just start to distance ourselves from that person if we don't like the way things are going, because we don't know how to have constructive conversations around confrontation. We just don't know how. And I've been like playing with this experiment. If you guys follow me on my profile, you may have seen I've been posting some controversial posts and just different things just to try to really understand this whole dynamic around confrontation. And what I am calling us to is a higher level of confrontation, because we will disagree on stuff. We cannot pretend that we live in a world where we're not going to disagree from time to time, or a lot of the time right now, with other people's opinions. And can we still love them? And can we still honor them? I mean, this is what it's all about, right? but especially today, we're going to talk about in marriage. So let's just jump in here. Here are some of the words that I hear from women. I try to be accepting and just continue on. It is what it is kind of mentality. But when I've reached my max, I will unload it all on him and then go back to accepting it again because nothing changes. We've been in this pattern for a very long time. I'm irritated and resentful of him. See this landing? He doesn't step up, so I just do everything. And this sucks. And it can feel like it will never end. Do you guys relate? If you relate with that, I'd like you to type in the comments. Never end. Feels like it's never going to end. It does feel that way, doesn't it? I want to remind you guys to stay through this thing, because at the end is when I do the energy clearing portion. So if you actually want energetic changes on this, stay through the end so that you can get that juicy energetic shift. So stay in this even when I make it hard, even when I bring up the feelings that you're probably avoiding about this. Because it's crappy, right? And what is the inevitable if nothing changes about this? I mean, how long can we put up with this pattern? How long can you put up with this pattern in your marriage? I know for me, when I got to those places of exploding, sometimes I felt so out of control, to the point that, I mean, I would even go to kind of like suicidal thoughts, or just very extreme thoughts of divorce, all of that. I hate that. I could not live like that anymore. I had to change. I had to change something. And it's like, if it wasn't him, it was going to be me. It was going to be something. Something had to change. And so if you relate with that, I'd like you to type in the comments, something has to change. Declare that to the universe right now. Something has to change. I'd love for you guys to type in the comments these beliefs if you resonate with them. The beliefs that we have that create these patterns. We believe that acceptance is a virtue. So if we could just accept enough, then we would love our marriage. That's one. That's kind of on the surface, right? That is there. We believe that acceptance is a virtue. And I believe acceptance is a virtue. I have nothing wrong with the value of acceptance. But there's a perspective shift needed here. Also, I see all the time these women, she tells herself, he doesn't care about me or what I want, because if he did, he would change. His changes would last. He doesn't care about me. That's the next belief. It's a heavy one. We go to in our darkest places. He doesn't care about me. Right? And again, there's a perspective shift needed there. And then the last one, deep at her core, she believes that she can't ask for what she wants. I want you to just check in with your heart on that one. Is that true for you? Do you believe that you can't ask for what you want? Is that why you wait so long before you actually speak up about something? Is it actually that, and not because of the value of acceptance? Again, there's a perspective shift needed in this. So what are these perspective shifts? Number one, you are using the spiritual principle of acceptance as a weapon against yourself. Just plant that in and see if that seems accurate. Why we do that, we can get into that on a phone call. Let's get into that on a phone call together. But using the spiritual principle of acceptance as a weapon against ourselves. Okay, and then the next one, if you really believed you could have what you wanted and that you deserved your heart's desire, you would express yourself calmly and consistently. And then you would actively pursue getting what you want. Like, oh, right. Wait a second. Why do I wait so long? What the heck? Okay. So that one's there, right? And again, please type these beliefs in the comments as you hear them. Yeah, right. He doesn't care about me. That's the one that we say, huh? Okay, now the big mind blower is about that. About he doesn't care. So here it is. The problem is not that he doesn't care about what you want. The problem is when you get to that point that you're finally ready to express what you want, it's done in the darkest energy. Through angst and shaming and blaming and pain and hurt and only telling him what's wrong and hoping he'll figure out what to do instead. There it is. So let me just repeat that. The problem is not that he doesn't care about what you want. It's not. The problem is that you wait until you're not yourself anymore before you express what you want. Why do we do this? That's the problem. Is that resonating? Type yes in the comments if that's resonating with you guys. I love seeing your engagement here, and it lets me know that it's resonating because I am seeing a screen of only myself. But lets me know if there's like a disconnect or if there's questions or whatever. Please type those in the comments. But it's so funny because I don't see them for like 30 seconds. So, anyway, but it's great. Holy crap, you guys, like sit in that. So this pattern, this whole time that you've been thinking, it's him, he doesn't care what I want, maybe we should get a divorce, all these things, you have the steering wheel. And I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I know your husband, because I definitely know there are some crappy people out there. Maybe you're married to one of them. I don't know. But what I do know is if you started practicing and acting like who you know you really are, and just speaking up for what you want when you want it, really pursuing your heart's desires, your husband's either going to follow suit or fall away. And it's going to become very clear to you what your next step is. Most men, I think most men, they do want to be a team, just like you do. Okay, I want to read, I actually want to read a testimonial to you guys that a client shared with me, because I felt like the way that she described her experience and her transformation just put it into the most beautiful words. So I'm actually just going to read this word for word to you guys. And again, just hang tight. At the end of this is when we'll move into the manifesting energy portion, where we'll create some shifts within our energy to actually activate this truth within us and get more of what we want, more intimacy. Okay, she said, and I'm going to keep her anonymous. She said, before working with Melissa, I had one foot out the door in my marriage. I was hiding and afraid to speak my true feelings and desires. So she didn't gain that awareness at the forefront. She gained that awareness from working with me. She was afraid to speak her true feelings and desires. I was mildly depressed, and the intimacy was all but gone from our relationship. I felt like we were living separate lives. Many times when we fought, the threat of divorce was spoken with bitterness and resentment. All I wanted was to be a team, working towards the common goal of a happy marriage and life together. Melissa promised me that it was important to focus on my own healing, and that as I grew more into myself, my husband would either start working harder to catch up to me, or he wouldn't, and I'd be able to clearly see that this situation was no longer serving me. and I wouldn't be conflicted about whether I should stay. I didn't believe her at first, but I put my trust in her. After working with Melissa, I'm happy to report that I'm no longer on the fence because my husband did start naturally working harder to meet me where I am. Now, this is a woman who had been on the fence for a couple of years about her marriage, like 1 foot out the door for a couple of years, you guys. That's a miracle shift. And it's because she did this. She started applying these things. She started looking into herself, showing up for herself. So she said, I'm no longer on the fence. My husband did start naturally working harder to meet me where I am. We still have a long road ahead, but I feel like we're a team and I can tell him anything. I make sure my feelings are heard and he listens. He's been more vulnerable because he can see I'm here. I love him and that love is unconditional. I've told him I'm not afraid of his feelings, and that has opened the door to some seriously authentic conversations. Our intimacy has blossomed. It's been a rocky road, but also incredibly satisfying because it's required us to dig deep into our souls, to our very cores of acceptance, vulnerability, and love. That is so powerful. The very core, isn't that what we want? Be in that core, beautiful place with our spouse. Isn't that what we want? I loved her use of these value words: acceptance, vulnerability, and love. What do you want out of those 3 values? What do you want out of those? Yeah, I wait until I'm too upset to communicate gently, right? Yep, Natalie. And I would add to that, and you wait until you're not able to communicate from your true self. Like we lose ourselves. That's the part we don't realize. We lose ourselves. But we feel it afterwards. It's when the shame piles in. We don't have to do this anymore. What a gift, right? We don't have to do this anymore. All right, great. So let's move into the energy portion, guys. So again, if you're not familiar with energy work, this is a group session. This will apply for anyone who watches this because I don't need to know who all's watching this. The universe knows. Whether you're watching this live or watching the recording, if you want to accept this, your spirit will say yes. If you don't, your spirit will say no, and that's fine. I'm going to invite you guys to move along with me this time. So take a nice deep inhale and a clearing exhale. Breathe out forcefully. One more of those. Inhale. As we do that, I'm picturing this stuck energy from the base of the spine all the way up and out. It's like this gooey, tar, icky, crunchy kind of stuff that's just flowing out, no longer sticking. This energy is no longer sticking. So we just are opening this channel so we can start speaking from what we want. So I'm going to invite you even to move your hands in a way that represents you coming from your deepest desires, your core, your gut, and then that coming up and out your mouth. You can do this if you want to with me, or you can just watch me and laugh. Oh my gosh, but it's so freeing. We're accessing this, we're clearing this. Say yes in your spirit if you want this energy clearing. And then there's a piece about planting in those spaces that we've cleaned up, planting in. I deserve my heart's desires. My heart desires are good. My heart's desires come from God or the universe. They are pure. I can have what I want. Just planting that deep within. Take a nice deep inhale. Planting that like many, many seeds throughout your whole torso. I can have what I want. And then exhale, I can speak what I want. We're just activating this energy. My sisters, please share with me how this goes for you. You've activated this energy. You may start speaking more of what you want, and I would love to hear how this goes for you. There's many, many pieces to this. Of course, I can't cover them all here. So book a call with me if this is something that you want support in. If you want to actually really shift this for the long term, then book a call with me, and we'll work on this together. And last of all, if you guys know that you're just dying, waiting for me to address a certain topic, please private message me. I am just one private message away, and I would love to take your questions. I won't guarantee that I'll cover that here in the training, but I definitely won't know to cover it if you don't bring it to my awareness. There's so many topics to this beautiful gift of intimacy that we can cover and stepping in to our true divine femininity. I love you all so much. Thank you for showing up, and we'll see you guys next time.